Hi friends, welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for tuning in. As promised, I am trying to upload a new video every week for the next couple of weeks, just because I've been really slacking. I'm so serious that this is actually my lunch hour at work that I'm using to record this video because I promised you guys, and therefore I am planning to keep that promise. Anyway, as you saw from the title of this video, this is a review, so let's get into it. So for this video, I am reviewing this collection of short stories by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, The Thing Around Your Neck. So if you know anything about me, you know that I absolutely adore Chimamanda. I adore everything about her writing, her politics, her fashion. I recently discovered that she has an Instagram page, by the way, where she just posts these killer outfits. I just love her, and so this video is just going to be me mostly raving about her and her writing and everything Chimamanda, really. Yeah, so like I said, this is a collection of short stories. There are about 12 stories. Are there? Yes, there are 12 stories in this book. I really loved this collection of short stories, and I really think I should read more, just because I loved, you know, the variety of stories, the variety of circumstances, variety of characters. There's just something about that I found very appealing. And also this thing of reading something quickly, a few pages in, the conclusion has come, and the story has ended. I mean, that's really nice, and you're not having to, you know, sometimes like read through pages and pages for something to come to a conclusion. So I quite like that. But at the same time, I felt like with some of the stories, like I got really into it, I got really invested, I really loved the characters, and I just felt like they ended prematurely. I felt like it could be continued. The story could be delved into more, it could be fleshed out more. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I like stories ending quickly, but also there's some stories I felt like they could have gone on, you know. So if you know anything about Chimamanda, then you already know the themes that can be found in the short stories. So she explores life in Nigeria, she explores life for Nigerians in America, she explores life for people in Nigeria wanting to go to America and this idolizing of America. She explores religion, she explores family, she explores gender roles, ethnicity, religion, relationships. Like, she just really goes into. So if you've read Americana and you've read any of her books, really, then you will have a very clear idea of what these short stories are about. And I also felt like, because I read Americana before I read this, I felt like I was having sort of like deja vus, and I know she wrote this before she wrote Americana, so for me it really felt like some of the stories here were the foundation for her book Americana. The other thing about this collection of short stories is that most of the main characters are female, which is, you know, it's a Chimamanda thing. We all need to be feminists, you know. Yeah, so that was really great reading about these female characters from such varied backgrounds. The stories do tend to be on the sad side, so some of them are very like melancholic. Yeah, so that can make it a little bit difficult to get through it, but yeah, I really like the fact that most of the characters were female. And most of the stories I absolutely loved, but there were like one or two that I just didn't get what the short stories were about. But yeah, that's fine. I would say 80% of this book is freaking fantastic. So obviously for this review, I can't go into each story because otherwise the review is quite long, but like I said, I enjoyed most of the stories. So the two stories that really stood out for me were A Private Experience and Jumping Monkey Hill. Monkey Hill. So the two stories that really stood out for me were A Private Experience and Jumping Monkey Hill. I loved A Private Experience because, it just highlighted that no matter our differences, whether we are from different races, whether we're from different races or whether we're from different religions and different backgrounds, in the end of the day, we all have a common humanity that allows us to connect with each other. So A Private Experience is about two women, one who is Nigerian Muslim and the other one is Nigerian Christian, and they so happen to find themselves in hiding in one place because of some riot that happens. I really love the juxtaposition that is happening in the short story, because on the outside there is rioting between the Muslims and the Christians, but in this private space there is a Christian and a Muslim woman who are looking out for each other. And like I said, it kind of shows you that no matter who we are and where we're from, at the end of the day, we have a common humanity that connects us. And there's so many things that we experience together. I feel like maybe Chimamanda is trying to highlight that we've placed emphasis on so many things that actually separate us instead of things that show us this common humanity. So I really loved the story. It was very, very sad, like most of the stories, but it was beautiful nonetheless. And this juxtaposition, I thought, was a perfect way to show this theme. So Jumping Monkey Hill is the kind of story that I was just fuming the entire time I was reading through it, mostly because these kind of things still happen today and it makes me so angry. So pretty much the story is about this lady who goes to a writing retreat. She's written a short story and she's gone to this retreat, and part of the I can't speak. So part of the retreat is that you read your story and people give you feedback. So the retreat is organized by an older white man, which there's nothing problematic with that. The problem comes in when this older white man has the audacity to tell this black lady that the story that she has written is not plausible. I hate that kind of limiting, especially when it comes from someone who is not living. You're not a woman, you're not a black person, you're not African, and yet you feel like you have the right to tell us what stories are plausible and what are not, and what readers will be able, to understand. I just feel that that infuriates me so much, because actually you don't have the right. I feel like if you are African and you're writing about your African experience, that is an African story. Nobody should have the right to say, oh, that is not African enough, or we think the African audience is so stupid they won't be able to understand that particular experience. It's just so demeaning. But it's a sad story again, but it just stood out because it's just like well written, and I think it's a very relevant topic today, especially if you're a writer or you are wanting to publish your work and you are being told that's not African enough by someone who is not African. Are you kidding me? That is such a joke. So other stories worth mentioning from this collection are what is it again? The Thing Around Your Neck, which is the title story for this, and Tomorrow is Too Far. And the reason I am mentioning these stories is because I absolutely love the style of writing. in these two stories. The style of writing is very fast paced. It's very like there's an urgency to the way it's written. It's perfectly suited to the alarmingness of the story itself. And these two stories were probably the stories that I got through, the quickest, just because you can't stop yourself from reading. You just have to read it. And Tomorrow Is Too Far was the most shocking of the short stories. This is what I will say. So those are the 4 stories that I think really stood out. There was one story called Ghosts, which I just did not get. I really did not get that short story. I don't know, I just didn't get what the point was. Overall, I would say this is definitely worth the read. So if you love Chimamanda and you love her politics and you love the themes that she usually explores, then you will definitely enjoy this, and I highly suggest that you grab a copy of this and just see Chimamanda in her glory. So guys, that was my review of the short story collection by Chimamanda, The Thing Around Your Neck. So if you enjoy these kind of reviews, please come back to my channel, subscribe. I'm almost at 100 subscribers. If you want to help me out to reach 100 subscribers, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button down below, and please don't feel shy to comment. Tell me what you think of this video, what you thought of the review. Have you read the book? Have you read any of Chimamanda's books? Let me know. Otherwise, I will check you out in the next video coming up real soon. Take care, guys. Bye.